As Microsoft is discontinuing support for Windows 7, you might be considering upgrading to Windows 10. In this video, we'll look at the top things to do once you complete the upgrade to Windows 10. Number one thing you should consider doing is installing patches and updates to Windows 10 to avoid being hacked. To check for updates, you type "Check for updates" in the Start menu, and it launches Windows Update Checker. Once updates are identified, Windows typically installs them automatically and then reboots the computer to finalize the installation. For optional updates, Windows offers you to download optional updates, which makes sense to do to stay current and make sure you're protected against vulnerabilities. I also recommend you check Advanced Update Options by clicking on Advanced Option button, and make sure that you configure them by automatically receiving updates for other Microsoft products that you have installed. For example, it's very good for Microsoft Office. In addition to Windows updates, it also downloads all updates related to Office. Here you can also pause updates. If you suspect that update might damage your system, you can choose the date by which you will pause it. You can pause up to 35 days. Microsoft typically provides major and minor updates, and these options allow you to control when installation is completed for those. Sometimes you may need to download many applications at once as a batch, and you would like to do it from the trusted source. One of the best ways to do it in Windows 10 is using ninite.com. To do that, let's launch the browser, and you can navigate to ninite.com. And here, on this site, you see a list of free or open source applications, and you can select which ones you would like to download. Once you select what you want, the packages them and allows you to download and install them all at once. And it also sets them up for automatic updates. This is basically a way of packaging applications to quickly download them from the trusted source, which is very important, and also set them up so you can continuously get updates when updates come out. I typically select browsers here because I like to use Chrome browser, and Firefox. Select the free compression utility, which is very helpful for Windows 7 zip. I select VLC Media Player, which has a lot more capabilities than built-in Windows Player, and typically select Notepad++. Your interests might be different, so definitely explore these tools and see what's available. But let's go through the step and download. To proceed, what you want to do is select everything that you need and then click Get Your Ninite. Ninite packages the applications and creates the executable, which you can trust because this is a reputable source and a lot of people use this. You click Run on this executable. Windows prompts you, do you really want to trust Ninite? And you click Yes here. And after that, it goes and installs all these applications that you have selected. Once installation is complete, you can click Close. All applications are installed. You see VLC Media Player, Notepad++, and both browsers. Now what you can do, you can position them for effective launch. You can launch them from here, from Start menu, or if you launch it once, you can pin it by doing right mouse click and then selecting Pin to Taskbar option. Now even if you close Chrome browser, the icon is still there and you can quickly relaunch it again. In case you forget your Windows 10 password, or your system will get compromised, it is very important to have an alternative way of accessing Windows 10. To do that, you might consider creating backup administrative account, so you have an alternative way of logging in and recovering your information. I recommend creating local recovery account to make sure you can access your system without needing an internet connection. To do that, you would need to navigate to Computer Management, and here you can navigate to the local users and groups. Make sure to select Users. And here you just right mouse click and select New User and then type New User Account. You might consider using names that easy for you to understand but harder to guess, so nobody can guess your account, and you always want to use secure passwords here. The name might be Backup Admin 98 to give it some randomness. You might also want to uncheck this unless you do want to change the password at next logon, and typically select Password Never Expires and then type the password here. And then once everything is set up, you click Create button and user account has been created. By default, Windows creates standard accounts, but what you can do now, you can make this account administrative account. To do that, you do right mouse click, click Properties, click Member Of. Account is the member of users group, but we just promoted it to make it member of administrators group. Reducing blue light exposure helps protect your eyes and allows you to stay more productive for longer periods of time when working in the computer systems. To reduce blue light exposure on your computer, consider switching Windows 10 into the dark mode and using night light feature of Windows 10. To do that, let's navigate to Settings, and you can type dark mode, and Windows offers you turn on dark mode for apps, and we'll choose this option. Here you can see that by default, Windows offers light colors, and what you need to do, you need to select dark colors. And you see how background for the apps has changed, and now it's much easier on your eyes and you can work longer. To turn on night lights, what you need to do, you need to type night lights, and you can also find this option through settings, but you can also navigate directly. And you see that by default it's not turned on, but you can turn it on. And here you can select the strength of night light, and you see how color is changing potentially. Because we're already in the dark mode, the change is not as substantial, but if you would be in the light mode and your background will be light, you will definitely notice the difference. If you'd like the content, please make sure to click the like button, share with your friends, and subscribe to my channel. If you frequently visit the same URL, you might consider pinning this URL right to the taskbar so you can access it quickly. You can do it right from your browser. Keep in mind though that different browsers have different capabilities allowing you to do that, and you might accomplish the same goal differently, for example in Chrome and in Edge browsers. Chrome browser allows you to put shortcut on a desktop that will open Chrome with particular URL. To do that, let's navigate to cnn.com. And once you're on the page, what you can do, you can just drag and drop the URL, and you see I'm doing it slowly. Windows allows you to drag and drop it on the desktop. Now if I close Chrome browser and double click on this, it will open the link in the browser as well from the desktop. Windows Edge browser behaves a little bit differently. To put the link right onto the taskbar, you can do it in Microsoft Edge. You click on the menu and you choose the option pin this page to taskbar, and you see the page is right here. Now you can close the browser, and if you need to quickly navigate to msn.com, you can just click on the icon and msn.com will be opened up in Edge browser. It is always a good idea to create a backup of your drive C when computer is still working and you don't have any issues. This way you can restore drive C in case of the disaster. To complete the backup of your drive C, you might consider creating system image disk in Windows 10. To do that, you need to navigate to Backup. You can go directly by typing the Backup right in the Start menu, or you can also call the same option from Settings. Here in Backup, we go to Go Backup and Restore option from Windows 7, and then choose an option to create system image. Windows is looking for the drives where it will attempt to save the backup, and it should be a separate drive. So this way, if something happens to your C drive, you can restore from another drive. In my configuration, I have two drives available. One is drive C, which is 256 gigabyte, and another one is drive E, which is 512 gigabyte. I'm going to attempt to save system image for drive C onto the drive E. And now we can just select this drive and click Next. Windows offers you to backup drive C and also Windows System Recovery Environment. And all you need to do is just click Start Backup. Once backup is complete, Windows offers you to create a system repair disk. You can use this disk to boot from DVD and then use this backup image to restore your drive C. If you don't have it, it's a good idea to have it and create it when you still can. Or if you have another computer, that's what I rely on, and one computer breaks, you can always create it in another Windows 10 installation. So I'm going to click No here. To restore your computer using system image you created, you need to reboot Windows in recovery mode and make sure your system image is available on one of the connected drives. To restore from the created disk, you need to go to recovery mode and reboot your computer in advanced startup mode. Once you're in advanced startup mode, you click troubleshoot, and then you go to advanced options, and then you go to system image recovery. So you need to know with which user account this image was created. Mine was created with video recording account. You need to type in your password. Windows identifies the image that was created, and it offers you to restore from that. Another thing you might consider doing is organizing your applications on Windows Start menu, Desktop, and Taskbar so you can find and launch them faster. The easiest way to launch Windows applications is using Start button. You just click on the Start button and then select the application you need to launch by navigating through the list of applications. I will be using Notepad to show different ways of launching applications in Windows. But whatever I'll be showing you is applicable to any Windows application installed on your computer. By default, in Start menu, Notepad is located under Windows Accessories, and you can launch it by navigating through the hierarchical structure of Windows Start menu. But keep in mind that this is only one of many ways of launching Windows applications. Let's look at another alternative. You can just click on the Start button and start typing. For example, I will be typing Notepad. And what happens, Windows automatically searches based on the keywords that I'm typing based on the first letters. It will identify all the applications that match this criteria. In this case, it's only Notepad that matches this, but sometimes if it's a generic word, it might be more than one application. So it finds it, and you can click on the applications and launch it again. For me, using typing is the superior method of launching applications, because this way I can find some applications that I don't know where they are located on the menu. But through typing, I can use Windows Help to help me locate and find these applications. Over the years, Start button became not just the launching pad for applications, but also a comprehensive search tool in Windows 10. You can use Start menu to find applications locally, and also Windows launches a web query to find everything that you're looking for based on the keywords you typed online as well. In addition to launching applications from the Start menu, you can also launch specific folder in Windows 10, specific URL in the particular browser, and also launch specific section of settings and control panel. Now let's look at some options how Windows 10 can help you launch applications faster. To do that, let's click on the Start button, type Notepad, and use a right mouse click on your mouse. And one of the options, the last one, is Pin to Taskbar. Taskbar in Windows groups most frequently used applications, and I just clicked Pin to Taskbar, and Notepad shows up by default as the most tried application on the taskbar. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to assume that this is my most frequently used application, and I'm going to drag it to the left. Using Windows Taskbar is one of the most effective ways of launching Windows applications. It is always visible and only requires one mouse click to launch, because Windows Taskbar takes real estate on your screen. One of the best strategies I found is only to put applications there that you use most frequently. Windows assigns shortcuts to all applications that's pinned to Taskbar. For example, Notepad would be number 1, Edge browser would be number 2, Chrome browser would be number 3, and etc. To launch those applications, for example, to launch Notepad, you can use Windows 1, which launches Notepad, Windows 2, which would launch Edge browser, and Windows 3 would launch Chrome browser. This way, if you assign most frequently used application to your taskbar in the order how you use them, you can use these shortcuts to launch them very quickly. Windows 10 allows two fastest ways of launching the application. The first one is Windows Taskbar, and the second one is keyboard shortcuts. Using Windows Taskbar, you launch application with just one mouse click. Using keyboard shortcut, it's just one keyboard click. The best strategy of using these two tools is to put applications that you use the most frequently and configure them using these two methods for the fastest launch. Another shortcut to launch Windows applications quickly is Pin to Start. To use it, let's find Notepad again by typing Notepad in the Start menu and right mouse click on the found application, and you see there is option Pin to Start. When you select this, nothing happens initially, but when you click Start menu again, you see that there is a Notepad application right here on the tiles portion of the Start menu. Now you can launch Notepad by just clicking the Start button and clicking Notepad in the tile portion. You can also move it and rearrange applications. And for example, if you use Notepad more frequently, you can put it as number 1 here on the tile structure. You can also remove it from the tile portion by using Unpin from Start option and rearranging and putting things back as they used to be. If you'd like the content, please make sure to click the like button, share with your friends, and subscribe to my channel. Another cool way of quickly launching Windows applications is assigning custom shortcut. For example, what you can do, you can assign a shortcut like Alt-Shift-N to Notepad. And when you hit this shortcut on your keyboard, it will always launch Notepad. This is the way to do it. You can right mouse click on the application and open file location. And what happens, it shows where the shortcut to Notepad is located. Not the actual application, but the shortcut. You see this arrow sign in the icon. And what you can do, you can click on the properties for this shortcut. And there is a shortcut key. Nothing is assigned by default. But if I type Alt, then holding Alt, press Shift, and then press N, you see that it assigned Alt, Shift, N shortcut. I click Apply. I click OK. I close File Explorer, and now I'll use this shortcut Alt-Shift-N, and it launches Notepad. To create the most productive environment in Windows, it's always a good idea to differentiate between applications that you need access every day versus every week versus occasional use. You can put the ones that you use most frequently on the taskbar or create Windows keyboard shortcuts for those so you can access them with just one click. A lot of times, instead of launching specific applications in Windows, you may need to launch specific area that you're trying to manage. For example, documents. The best way to do it is click the Start button and then expand Start portion, which is different from the list of applications. You just navigate here, and it shows all the different options here. Video recording, that's the user ID I use. Documents, that's the area we're trying to launch. It also has areas for pictures, settings, and then power options. If you don't expand it, it shows just the icons, but if you're doing it for the first time, it might be worthwhile looking what those areas are. Because I wanted to launch documents, I just click on the documents, and it launches the documents area. You see, this is this PC documents area in Windows. Sometimes you might realize that one of the most frequently used items in Windows for you is not the application, but rather specific folder in File Explorer, or maybe settings, or accessing particular URL. Let me show you how you can optimize and accelerate access to those items in Windows 10. Windows 10 allows you to customize what shows up in that menu. To do that, we just select Documents or Pictures or any other areas. You can't select User ID. It always should stay there. And you can click Personalize this list. And it shows what the options are you might add or remove from that menu. For example, I would use File Explorer. That's what I use very frequently. Settings, Documents. I also look at Downloads, but I rarely use it. I look at Music or Pictures or Videos. I might add Network, and I do not use Personal folder. Obviously, your list might be different, so make sure to choose options that you would use most frequently. Now let's look how it changes after we made those adjustments. Now you see there are more options here. And if I click, it expands and shows that we have Documents, Downloads, we have Network, File Explorer. And if you click on any one of these options, it will launch that area of the Windows application that you're trying to find. And now let's look at one of the coolest recently introduced way of launching Windows applications in Windows 10. If you're a power user and trying to manage the computer in addition to just using it, you find this option useful to launch power options by clicking the Start button, and you do a right mouse click and you see a lot of different options. For example, some options only available in Settings or in Control Panel. Computer Management is a very useful option which launches Computer Management add-in MMC plugin, which allows you to look at different options in Windows, and pretty much File Explorer, Settings, Task Managers, PowerShell, and all of these other options used by power users and Windows administrators very frequently. So this is a neat way to launch and quickly access all of this command. Another way to launch Windows applications faster is to talk to Cortana. First, we need to configure Cortana, which may not be configured by default. To do that, let's click on the Start menu and type Cortana. And by default, it's Cortana permissions, and this is what we're looking for. And one of the options there is Talk to Cortana. By default, Cortana is not enabled, so we can turn it on, and it will respond to Hey to Cortana. If you also want to launch Cortana manually, for example, by using Windows C shortcut key, you can enable this option, which is what I'm going to do. Let's close it. Now let's launch Notepad using Cortana. Hey Cortana, launch Notepad.
Sure thing. Starting Notepad.
And you see now Notepad application is opened. If this video was helpful, make sure to click the like button in your browser. Also, please help your friends to learn this topic faster by sharing this video with them. And if you would like to be the first one to know about new videos to help you reach your goals faster, make sure to subscribe to my channel. Make sure to check out my other relevant videos and subscribe to my YouTube channel. We have a lot of great stuff planned in the pipeline, and I don't want you to miss any of it. And if you'd like to get notified about all the new stuff that are coming out, make sure to subscribe to my email list as well. All links are here on the screen. Make sure to click to stay in touch. Thanks again for watching.